Ja, god dag, kjære seere. Vi ønsker dere velkommen tilbake til oss, Frikanalen, Trond kvarter. Vi skal I dag fortsatt ha fokus på Afghanistan. Det nok mye å si om situasjonen der, men det må være tillatt å oppsummere som hovedsak følgende. I Afghanistan har man I dag en taper. Det USA, NATO, invasjonsstyrkene, der også Norge dessverre har vært med, taper I dag, og I deres omland kaos. Vinner, må vi også få lov å peke på, synes være Afghanistan, det afghanske folket, som har så langt synes det klart å avslutte den fremmede okkupasjonen. En taper og en vinner. Skal vi møte dem begge? Representanter for tapersiden, representant for vinnersiden, om vi får lov å si. Her tapersiden representert ved amerikansk president Biden. Og må vi få lov å si vinnersiden, slik vi oppfatter det, Taliban. Ja vel. Tapersiden Biden på denne video skuffet, nedstemt, nesten furten. All skyld legges på afghanerne, de som var samarbeidspartnere til USA, NATO og Vesten. Biden mener de sviktet USA. De var ikke sterke og villige nok til å føre USA og Vestens krig. President Biden skuffet. Og på den andre video, talsmann for Taliban, vi lytter til hans vurderinger og tanker, viktig så visst. Her altså de to videoer, først USAs president Biden.
I always promised the American people that I would be straight with you. The truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we had anticipated. So what's happened? Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed, sometime without trying to fight. If anything, the developments of the past week reinforced that ending U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan now was the right decision. American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves. We spent over $1 trillion. We trained and equipped an Afghan military force with some 300,000 strong, incredibly well equipped. A force larger in size than the militaries of many of our NATO allies. We gave them every tool they could need. We paid their salaries, provided for the maintenance of their Air Force, something the Taliban doesn't have. Taliban does not have an Air Force. We provided close air support. We gave them every chance to determine their own future. We could not provide them was the will to fight for that future. There's some very brave and capable Afghan special forces units and soldiers. But if Afghanistan is unable to mount any real resistance to the Taliban now, there is no chance that 1 year, 1 more year, 5 more years, or 20 more years of U.S. military boots in the ground would have made any difference. We will conclude our military withdrawal. We will end America's longest war after 20 long years of bloodshed. The events we're seeing now are sadly proof that no amount of military force would ever deliver a stable, united, secure Afghanistan, as known in history as the graveyard of empires.
Ja, kjære seer, president Biden skuffet, nesten furten. etter nederlaget i Afghanistan. Og her en representant altså for hva vi må kalle vinnersiden. Afghanerne, de som kanskje har dypere røtter i sitt eget hjemland, fører videre sin tradisjon og kultur på en måte, relativt upåvirket av trykk og press utenfra. Det får vi diskutere etter hvert, men i hvert fall her en representant for Taliban.
If the US or the UK wanted to extend the 31st of August deadline in order to continue evacuations out of the country, would you agree to that?
No.
Why not?
This is something, you can say it's a red line. President Biden announced this agreement that until 31st of August they would withdraw all their military forces. So if they extend it, that means they are extending occupation. While there is no need for that, I think it will deteriorate the relation, will create mistrust between us. If they are intent on continuing the occupation, so it will provoke a reaction.
Let's talk about the situation at the airport. People are very afraid of what life may look like under your rule. People are prepared to leave everything behind. They're prepared to risk their lives to leave the country. What would be your message to them?
First, I assure you, it is not about their worry and not about their scare. This is about they want their demand to resettle in Western countries. And that is a kind of economic migration, because Afghanistan is a poor country and 70% of the people of Afghanistan are living under the line of poverty. So everyone wants to resettle in Western countries to have a prosperous life. So that is, it is not about scare. Of course, for their justification to go there, they exaggerate, scare and terrified and so. So we know the Afghans. This is our society. This is not the fact they are scared.
Women have fought hard for their rights in Afghanistan. They now can have a university education, they can have a career, they can wear what they want, they can socialise with who they want. But they're terrified of what life may look like under your rule and what they stand to lose. What do they stand to lose?
They will lose nothing. Only if they had no hijab, they will have a hijab. We should accept each other, and other society should not impose your culture on us, or not we are imposing our culture on you.
Culture aside, when it comes to women's rights and their opportunities and their freedoms, they will lose nothing under your rule. Is that what you're saying?
Right now,
yes,
the women teachers, they have resumed the work, lost nothing. The journalists, they have resumed, female journalists, they have resumed their work, lost nothing.
We're hearing reports of members of the Taliban going door to door looking for people like journalists, like members of the judiciary, former government workers. We're hearing that girls' schools have been closed in some provinces. What are you doing about that?
All fake reports.
I was shown
if anyone is, as you say, and we investigate every incident, who is going door to door, he himself will be prosecuted and tried and punished, because that is a violation of our policy. But I can assure you, there are many reports by our opponents claiming what is not based on realities.
Who aren't leaving their homes because they're frightened. People can't pay their staff because they can't access cash. People can't buy food because they can't access their bank accounts. What is your plan? When is life going to be restored to some sense of normality for the Afghan people?
Now it is not only hardly a week that we have taken over. So of course, the initial days, they will have, they are having these problems. But there is need that this problem will continue. As I said, everything will be restored. They will have all access to all these needs, to banks and receiving their salaries and everything what is needed and what is expected from a government, they will have access to that.
And as we now approach the date for American, British, foreign forces, soldiers to leave Afghanistan, what would you say to the families of those who died trying to help Afghanistan?
I first of all say they occupied our country. If we occupy your country, what you will say to me? If I killed your people in your country, what you will say? I think our people suffered a lot, bloodshed, destruction, everything. But we say the past is the past story, a part of our past history. Now we want to focus on future. And future, we want cooperation with all countries. Yes, the past was very painful. Yes, but still, one thing I say, we were fighting them in our country. And we didn't send any group to fight them in their countries while we had these capabilities, because we do not have foreign agenda. I think it was a mistake, a great mistake. Even at that time, when I was a deputy ambassador in Islamabad, at that time I told it is a mistake. This issue should be resolved through peaceful means and talks, and will be better and beneficial for both sides.
Ja, kjære seere, dette var 2 videoer, illustrerer situasjonen i dagens Afghanistan. Vi kommer nok her i programmene våre til fortsatt å ha et fokus hva skjer i Afghanistan. Så følg oss gjerne. Frikanalen, Trond Alis kvarter. Velkommen tilbake til oss.